I'm sipping Lupicia's Nara Tsukigase. It's tea time. This tea from Nara in Japan is nurtured with spring water and painstakingly crafted. Ooh. Ooh. This Shincha has a well-rounded taste. So there's the kanji for shin, the one I'm thinking of, means new. So it means that this is an unaged tea. It's a new tea, a baby tea maybe. 4 to 5 grams of tea leaves at 65 to 70 degrees, brewed for 2 to 2.5 minutes, leaves to a couple of cups. So a little bit different to the standard teas, the standard green teas we get from Lupicia. But very exciting. Well-rounded taste. I wonder what it's going to taste like. Oh, it smells young. I don't even know what young tea is meant to smell like, but this is what it smells like. Like more acidic, maybe a little bit more on the acrid side. I don't know. Oh, it's sweet and well-rounded and gone. It's so unassuming. Wow. So light in the mouth, and its flavor journey is very short. How fascinating. At the very start, there's this sweetness. It's very pretty, very light. Like, yeah, how you expect like baby asparagus or like, you know, baby greenery to taste like, very sweet and soft. And then it does this lovely, well-rounded, yeah, it's quite a median sort of essence. And of course, like it's a green tea. It tastes like a green tea, but its journey is slightly different because it's a new tea, a Shincha. It's just so light. So light. I'd love to try and make like a tea mocktail with this and cucumber. I've tasted Lupicia's sencha chiran, which I think I have described as quite like light and very refreshing and almost like very good at just cleansing the palate. And there is definitely an aspect of that with the Nara Tsukigase. And tsuki could be moon. Let's hope, because that will make it easier to remember. So yeah, there are similarities in how big they play in the mouth, but where they play in the mouth is actually quite different. There isn't much sweetness in the sencha chiran that I remember, whereas this is sweet. This feels young. It feels that more like the sencha chiran. The process was long, very detailed, very fine, and very controlled, whereas this, I mean, even though they say it's painstakingly created, they're just trying to highlight the beauty of the new. It's just a classic spring tea because the Japanese love to celebrate new things, and they often do that by like eating bamboo shoot or eating, you know, they love their fish roe, they love baby sea cucumber, and baby sea cucumber is quite delicious too, even though it's torturous to think that eating baby cucumber, which I have done. It's just so delicious. And I think there's something, the meaning behind eating, consuming, drinking a new thing, something, you know, born of spring, gives it more of a longevity feel to it. And I think that's really beautiful. It's quite poetic, and in the concept of like the circle of life and, you know, life and death, I think it makes sense that we consume the new and the old, and we like both. You know, in Australia, we love our lamb. It's very popular here. It's very good here. It's very tasty. And yet, like, we don't honor the end of the lamb cycle, and we don't often eat that much mutton. Even though, like, mutton has other things to offer. It might not be as tender, but mutton has more flavor. And that duality isn't held easily, I find, in Australia, whereas in Japan, they love both. And they love both together, side by side, alternating one after the other, you know, different seasons, different foods. But spring is all about new things, new growth, new buds, lots of babies, lots of Fitzroy. And I love it. This tea is great. Beautiful. I do believe that the cleaner my teapot is, the more I'll get out of this tea, simply because it's light. And yeah, winter is all about rejuvenating and cleansing and consolidating and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, to allow the aspects of spring to shine, I'll need to keep my teapots very clean, especially for this leaf. So sweet. So sweet. Wow, yeah. It's beautiful. Just loving my teas. I think next I'll be trying some black teas by TWG. We'll see what happens. I might like them, I might not. But always I will take you with me wherever those teas take me on my first sip. I really feel that, like, where I am transported to on my first sip lays the foundations for future experiences of that tea and similar teas. And I find that fascinating, and I just love it. I love that so much. I love what tea does for me. And if you're in Melbourne, please do come to my next Full Moon Tea Circle in February. It's happening on the 15th of February at 3:30 p.m. in Fitzroy. We will be sipping teas, and usually it's like what I'm loving at the time, but a variety. And we will be discussing the feminine experience and sharing and just loving. And we'll have a couple of meditations and some beautiful time for journaling and just opening our hearts so that we all leave feeling nourished and connected. I'd love to see you there. Otherwise, see you next time for another first sip.